Hello everyone, this is Kelly and I'd like to welcome you back to the Honeybee Stamps YouTube channel and day 2 of our Vintage Love release. Make sure you check out the description box below for all the information on our upcoming release. First, I'd like to share with you the new Bold Backgrounds Vintage Rose die set. Now, this combines kind of the best of both worlds here. So we have this beautiful leafy cover plate and then these beautiful layering roses. So it's almost like a cover plate plus lovely layers dies. So this is what we're calling the Bold Backgrounds. We're going to do a whole beautiful series. I'm in love with these layered roses that will layer right onto the leafy background. There's lots of options here, whether you want to use the leafy background, you can use those roses on a card by themselves. This is just so beautiful and perfect for spring and summer. Now here's a peek at the Bold Backgrounds Vintage Roses Layering Guide. So it's going to walk you step by step how to get that beautiful bold background design. And here's a card that I created during one of our live streams using the leafy cover plate die and then all of those beautiful layering roses. The next die set is the Lovely Layers Sweetheart Roses die. This large die set is going to create a beautiful little mini sweetheart rose bush. You can see there is a container that you can put your little mini roses down into. These little layering mini roses would be adorable just alone by themselves on a card. You can use the layering container as shown here. They'd also be beautiful in any of the other Lovely Layers containers like the rattan basket or the wood vase. Now I'm going to show you what the size comparison here on an A2 size card. So here is that 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card base. You can see they take up quite a bit of real estate here. So they'll be beautiful if you're an A2 size card maker or A7. And let me show you all of the layering pieces here. So of course there is that urn style vessel, and then there is the large stem piece that you're going to add the leaves onto, and then the layering roses and buds. There's two different larger roses and then a really tight bud and kind of a partially open bud. But you can see here the Lovely Layers Sweetheart Roses layering guide. The Lean on Each Other sentiment stamp set and coordinating dies are a beautiful kind of inspirational sentiment set. There's sentiments like, we may not have it all together, but together we have it all. You make an ordinary day special. When we lean on each other, we both stand tall. Together we rise, love you more. You are just the friend that I needed. That may be my favorite one in the set. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine, and thank you for the way you care. And there's many more sentiments in that set. And of course, there's the coordinating die set that's going to cut out every one of those beautiful sentiments. Now, I've created several cards with this stamp set, and here is a card that I created during one of our live streams. I used the Eyelet Lace 3D embossing folder with the coordinating die, some of our old Lovely Layers products, and then I added the You Are Just the Friend That I Needed as the sentiment for this card. The next beautiful stamp set is called Blooming View. Now, all the images in this set are drawn by Kelly Taylor. Now, there are beautiful roses. There's a couple of small bunches, and then there's a little climbing rose bush that you can make climb up the little trellis or the window that we have here. There are lots of beautiful sentiments in this set, like happy anniversary, congratulations on your wedding day, hello, with love and hugs, deepest sympathy, so very grateful, and there's a little my friend and thank you. Now there's a coordinating die set that goes along with Kelly's beautiful images. It's going to cut out all of those beautiful little rose bunches, all the sentiments, and then you can see the window die up there. So there's a die that's going to cut around the outline, and there's also a die that's going to cut out all of those little spaces to create the little window portions in that. So it's going to cut out the centers of those. This is just a beautiful coloring stamp set. The next stamp set is called Love is a Rose, and this is another beautiful set from Kelly Taylor. So in this set, we have a beautiful, like vintage looking bird cage surrounded by flowers, so very kind of Victorian looking. A stack of books with flowers on a little bookmark. We have an open book. You can see the pages there, and then a little bunch of roses laid over the top. This large 6 by 8 inch stamp set also contains a lot of really great greetings, everything from hello my friend, birthday greetings, best wishes, once upon a time, our story is my favorite, have a beautiful birthday, thinking of you, make this birthday one for the books, to the one I love, love is a rose that blooms forever. And then of course there is that coordinating die set that's going to cut out all of Kelly's beautiful images along with all of the wonderful sentiments. The next beautiful stamp set is called Eternal Love, and it is drawn by Dawn Holslegel. We have a beautiful set of morning glories, we have camellias, and cabbage roses. In this set, there are also some beautiful greetings like I love you, so thankful for you, you're simply the best, hugs, thank you for being you, thank you for being a true friend, loving memories are eternal, I love the life we share, and hello. Now, of course, there is the coordinating die set that's going to cut out all of Dawn's beautiful florals, plus all of those wonderful greetings. Our newest set of layering frames dies are called the Lace Heart layering frames. Now the largest layer that you see here, the scalloped layer, is A2 size, and then they move down from there. This is a great combination to create lots of layers of paper on your card. I love to layer my paper. This layering frame set in particular is extremely decorative. So we've got the beautiful scalloped hearts and hearts that have the embossed details of little florals and things pressed in them. There's also the little scrolly layers that you can add or choose not to add depending on what you're going for here. But this looks like a very vintage kind of antique Valentine look. Next, I'm going to hold this up close so you can get a look at all the beautiful pressed detail. All of these wonderful little embossed details will be pressed into your paper when you run that through your die machine. And this is the Lace Heart Layering Frames dies. Our next stencil set is called the Climbing Roses stencil set. This is just a 2-layer set, so it's super easy to use. I'm going to use this at the end of the video on today's card, so I hope you'll stick around for that. But the underside, or the base layer that you can see here, is all of the leaves and the vines and stems. And then we have the rose layer that has some big, nice roses on there. If you layer these together, you get a look at, what the whole design looks like together. So I'm going to stack these up and kind of tilt them in the light so we can get a better look at the Climbing Rose stencil set. I have another 3D embossing folder set to share with you. This is the Floral Heart 3D embossing folder and coordinating die. So the embossing folder is 5x7 or A7, and it is going to press, if I put this all back together here, I've already die cut, but it's going to press that beautiful kind of floral heart design. Then you can use the coordinating die, and the embossing folder and the die will come together in a bundle. You can use that die to cut out the center heart. So you have lots of options here. You can use just this background piece that I'm holding here. You can use the heart by itself, or you can use the two together. So there's lots of options in doing different techniques. You can make multiple cards with the same piece of paper and die cut, use the heart on one and then the background on another. But if I hold this up here, you're going to see how the heart die perfectly matches the inset in that embossing folder, and these are just beautiful together. Okay, now it's time to make today's card, and I am going to start out with the Climbing Roses stencil set. I have some hot pink paper taped down that I have cut out with the new Lace Heart layering frames. So that is the A2 size layering frame from that die set. and I'm taping down first the big roses from the Climbing Roses stencil set. I am going to use our opaque or brilliant white ink with a sponge dauber, and I'm going to go all over those big pretty roses. Now I'm getting my sponge dauber pretty juicy and really pressing that into the hot pink paper, and I am going to do kind of an offset design here. So once I get all of my roses inked over with this brilliant white, I'm going to dry the white ink with my heat tool, and then I'm going to clean off the white ink on my stencil, and I'm going to shift it just a little bit, and then I'm going to ink those roses up again. Okay, so I'm going to take up my stencil, take up my tape, and you can see I used a lot of tape. I didn't want that piece of paper to go anywhere, and I had to steal my husband's painter's tape. So I use my heat tool, and now this is, sorry about my head in the way, this is where I'm offsetting those roses just a little bit. And this time I'm going to ink them up with Festive Berries Distress Oxide ink. This is kind of a pinky red. It's going to be darker just a little bit than the cardstock, and it's going to go right over that brilliant white ink. But you're going to get that kind of shadowed look. As I raise this up here, we're going to see how that offset design looks really cool with those roses. I'm going to set that ink again with my heat tool, and then I can take the second layer of that stencil, which has the stems and the leaves on it. I'm going to line that up with the roses that I have already inked up and tape that down with my hubby's painter's tape. And then I'm going to use Rustic Wilderness Distress Oxide ink. This is a very rich, deep green, and so it's going to be pretty and going to go easily over that dark pink paper. So I'm going to ink that on. I'm getting my brush really good and juicy just to do one good dark coat. I'm making sure I have everything lined up and everything is good to go right there along the edge. And then I can kind of peel the tape back, lift up my stencil, and then we're good to go. Now you can see here where I had taped off the edges of that layering frames scalloped layer. Now I've also cut the hearts out of the lace heart layering frames. I've cut both hearts out of white and green. On the white heart, I stamped Love You More from the Lean on Each Other stamp set. You can see I've even pulled out the extra flower from the Bold Backgrounds Climbing Rose die set. Next, I'm going to fold down my card base, and this is just a matching green, so it's going to match the heart, it's going to match the leaves and the stem. I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive to attach this hot pink stenciled background onto my green card base. And with those little scallops, you're going to be able to see the green card base kind of peek out from behind. I like when everything kind of coordinates together like that. Next, I'm going to stack up my little die cut embossed hearts. I love those. I am in love with all of our layering frames sets. It makes it so easy to create lots of beautiful layers on your card. I'm adding a little glittery center to the center of my rose, and that is the rose that was created with that Bold Backgrounds die set. That's the set that creates the leafy kind of cover plate look and then has all the little roses that go over the top. I thought that would be a pretty little addition to this climbing rose background card. So I'm going to offset this little green heart and kind of have it hang off the edge. I'm going to layer the white heart right on top, and then I'm just going to trim the excess off the edge and kind of have that look like it stops there and kind of hangs off. The next thing I can do is just add a little bit of foam tape. I'm going to pop this up and add just a little bit of dimension to the little white heart. Kind of center that in the center of the green one. And then when I have that all done, I can add my rose from the Bold Background set. Now I had just a little bit of schmutz on my little white heart, so I had to use my sand eraser to take that off, but no big deal. I can just remove that. Whatever I can't remove, I can kind of hide with some pearl embellishment stickers here in a minute. So I'm just going to add my little layered rose right here with just a little bit of foam tape. Add it to the upper left-hand corner of my little heart. And then, like I said, to finish off this little heart, I'm going to take our new vintage pearl stickers and I'm just going to do a little sprinkling of gold pearls that's going to match the center of that rose right around my sentiment. When picking up my pearls off of the little acetate sheet, I like to use something really sharp. So I am using the pointy end of my die pick tool. You need to slip your little pointy end under the adhesive that is on the acetate sheet to make sure that you get everything picked up. If you try to use something like tweezers and pick them up from the top or something like that, you run the risk of pulling the pearl away from the double-sided adhesive. So something pointy or pokey is really going to help you out with that. And here's a close-up look at today's finished card. I love the offset stencil design. I hope you've enjoyed all the products from day 2 of our Vintage Love release. Make sure you check out the description box for all the information on this release and join me tomorrow as I go through all the extras for this release. It's going to be a fun one. Talk to you then. Bye-bye.